Okay, so I just got done watching the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and I think like most of us, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. So yes, there's a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and it has been released straight to Netflix instead of the movie theaters, which I believe was their original plan. That alone got me thinking like, okay, so is this movie gonna be bad? Is it gonna have like a really like low budget? That's from what I've seen. It looked like it had a low budget from the trailers. It didn't look too good, but after watching it, it wasn't that bad. I actually had a pretty good time watching it. So the movie itself, it's about an hour and 20 minutes long, which is really short for any movie. But I think for a horror movie, it worked perfectly because it gave us the kills, it gave us what we wanted to see, and it gave us like the gore, of course, was there. And I have some mixed thoughts about the gore. While like there were scenes that were actually really cool and pretty creative for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, it was surprisingly like the gore was brought down by some CGI that was put into it, which is always a little disappointing when watching any movie, especially a horror movie, because you want it to be like more realistic, more grounded, so it can come off as more intriguing and a lot scarier than it would be for like CG blood when you know it's very fake. So this movie is pretty much old man Leatherface. That's how it was being promoted. That's how it was like in the articles. They told us that it was going to be a much older Leatherface. I mean, really, does that make a difference, having an older Leatherface? I mean, in the movie, you couldn't even tell the difference that he was old. He moved just about the same. That to me was kind of pointless. Just it's saying that it's an old man Leatherface. Like I get what they were trying to do with like Halloween, and you know, Halloween. You can tell like this movie took a lot of the 2018 version of Halloween, especially with the whole Sally character. But other than that, the movie itself, it just gave me everything I kind of wanted. You know, I wasn't expecting this groundbreaking new movie. I was pretty much just expecting like, just give me a quick slasher movie that I can kind of watch, enjoy it for what it is, and then just move on and forget about it. And that's exactly what it was. It was, like I said, it was only about 80 minutes, and within those 80 minutes, they quickly just moved forward with the plot and introduce us to the characters, which are pretty much forgettable. Pretty much every character in the movie is forgettable. It introduces us to Leatherface, who, Leatherface didn't really feel like Leatherface in this movie. It kind of just felt like any other serial killer with a chainsaw. I didn't really like see it and was like, okay, that's Leatherface, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really saw it as more of it's like, okay, it's this really giant, strong man who just so happens to be wielding a chainsaw in Texas. That's really what I saw. So I was like a little disappointed. The design of Leatherface wasn't too bad from the trailers. It kind of looked a little like cheesy and cheap and like kind of low budget. But seeing it in the movie itself, he actually looked very creepy and in a way disgusting, where like a fresh face that he has on, it was kind of disturbing, really, surprisingly. Because from the trailers, I thought it was like, okay, so this is gonna look like crap, but it came out a lot better than I thought it would be. Now, when we get to the characters, they're all forgettable. I don't really care about any of them. I mean, they were all there just to, you know, be part of the kill count. They were all there to die very quickly. So it kind of bothered me that I was kind of hoping that I would at least get like some memorable characters, but it really doesn't matter. Like these characters are here to die, and you know that's why they're here. They're here just to get killed. It's a slasher movie. Like, you know what you're coming in for. I mean, if you're expecting, you know, like deep characters, you're not gonna find that here. So that didn't disappoint me. Now moving on to the character of Sally, who was supposed to be pretty much the Laurie Strode. I mean, we all thought the same thing from the trailers. We thought, okay, Halloween 2018, Laurie Strode, they're doing the same thing. They're trying to, you know, cash in like Halloween's achievements to the same thing with Leatherface. So when she came back, I didn't mind. I feel like a lot of people were bothered by it, you know, like obviously it seemed like a gimmick at this point, and yes, it was a gimmick. She was kind of like doing her own thing for most of the movie. She was barely in the movie at all, so I can't really be annoyed by somebody who's barely in the movie. She was kind of just there a little more towards the end, and then even then she was kind of just pretty much pointless. So I would say she was pointless, but she didn't bother me. She didn't annoy me in any way. She didn't distract from the story. She was kind of just there, and then when you saw her pop up, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot she's in the movie. That's really all I get from her. There's the bus scene, which I would say is very bloody, but in my opinion, it was a little disappointing. Like from the trailer, I think we all thought this is going to be something crazy, this is going to be something wild, this is going to be something gory. And yes, it was gory, but I wouldn't say it was that crazy. I would say to me that bus scene was a little disappointing. I don't want to get into details. There was one pretty damn good kill towards the end of it, and I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. But other than that, the movie was just okay. You know, it was just there. It came and went. It gave me everything I was hoping for. So what I was really like when I saw the trailer, when I heard about the news, when I heard it was going straight to Netflix, I was like, this movie is gonna be ass. This movie's gonna suck. This is just gonna ruin the legacy of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we're probably never gonna get any more movies because of this movie. And it was just fun. It was enjoyable. I had a good time. Do I think we're gonna get any more sequels? I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna do. I think like diehard Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans aren't probably gonna be too excited about this movie, but I think just like a casual viewer is just gonna watch it on Netflix and just enjoy it for what it is, just a quick 80-minute slasher. So it might make quite a bit of money just for that, but for the diehard fans, I can see why they would be a little upset towards this and not enjoy it as much as a casual viewer. So where I stand with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is, it's never been my favorite horror franchise, but I've always enjoyed the 2003 remake. I personally think that's a really like entertaining and actually very scary horror movie, especially for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've never been afraid of the original. I think I saw it when I was a little too old to really be afraid of what it had to offer, especially at the time. You know, I understand why everybody else was afraid of it, especially at the time. But when I saw it, to me, I've already seen more horror movies to a point where it just didn't really bother me. It didn't really scare me at all. I've seen like worse at that point. So I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle, because I think it's better than 2013, like Texas Chainsaw 3D. That one really had its problems. Better than Leatherface. I wasn't like too crazy about Leatherface, but I wouldn't say it was anywhere near the 2003 remake or, you know, the beginnings, which even that one has its own problems, but I found some enjoyment on it. So I would definitely recommend watching it. At least just watch it once. You know, if you're a fan, of course you're gonna watch it once. I'm a fan of horror movies. Seeing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was pretty excited about it. I woke up pretty early in the morning to go see it. I saw it, I wasn't disappointed, but that's because I had my hopes so low for the movie. So I enjoyed it, and I recommend anybody to watch it. A casual viewer, I feel like you're gonna enjoy it more than a diehard Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan, I feel like you probably still enjoy it for what it is. Just keep your expectations a little low, which you probably already have based on the trailers. It didn't look so good, but it was better than I expected, but that's only because I was expecting trash. And I'm pretty happy with the outcome, so I would definitely recommend it to somebody to watch it at least once, enjoy it, you know, especially if you're just a horror fan who's looking for a bloody good time. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and you should go out and watch it.